Right, guys, we have got the man himself back in the hot seat. Dave Harrell, how are we doing, Dave?
I'm really good, thank you. Really good.
And this only means one thing, Dave. RiverFest is nearly upon us.
I was wondering why you were calling actually. So yeah, I think yeah, the season's about to start. As you can see, there's loads of tackle going on in the background. I've been sorting out poles today. Yesterday was rods and rigs and floats and feeders and so on. So my work fishing life at the moment is always about this time of year. It's about doing lots of work, getting up at about 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, getting loads of work done, and then having the afternoon on tackle.
That's it.
Interspersed with a bit more work. So yeah, good.
That's it. And obviously, biggest river competition in the country. It's going to need that amount of prep, that amount of time put behind it, Dave, to get to that
Yeah, not
final.
just for that. I think all river anglers are probably looking forward to the new season a lot now because we had a real difficult winter. We
Yeah.
had a real hard winter with lots of floods. I was lucky. I mean, I was one of the few people that were lucky enough to fish on the Y a lot this winter, and we had some great fishing. But if you took that away, the river angler hadn't got much left at all. I mean, a few of the lads were fishing on the Avon, usually on high rivers, some decent returns, but difficult fishing. The Severn was a complete washout. I mean, I fished over the years. I fished hundreds of matches on the Severn, and normally between October and March is the time. And we never got a chance to fish it. I mean, I don't think there was one match took place at Shrewsbury between
Wow.
October and March. So terrible. I mean, the climate's changing. I won't touch on close season, I promise you, but I
Hmm.
still think it's ridiculous, and I think it's even more ridiculous than ever. Moving on. Okay, RiverFest.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it immensely. Done a terrific amount of work on it. I mean, the minute the final finishes, I always start work on the next one.
Yeah.
And we've now got 28 qualifying matches. So it's gonna be a busy summer.
It's a big return, isn't it, Dave? And obviously, looking at it, it's around the sort of high 80s for the final now, isn't it? With finalists, if all the tickets sell out, that is.
Well, we've got 84, 84 in the final. So we start off with 1,680 tickets. They're virtually all sold. I mean, obviously, you're always going to have that little bit of movement, people cancelling or the book somewhere else or going on holiday or whatever. There's only one, the River Nene was almost sold out. And I think we're back to about, just looking on my list here, excuse me a sec while I just refer. Yeah, there's 13 left on that one.
Yeah.
Um, but generally, I mean, some anglers have been on to me saying, "No, how can we get tickets at this late date?" My advice would be to go onto the website and check every day. You know,
Yeah.
because people cancel in the daytime, they can cancel at night time. Um, so it's worth checking up that way.
Exactly. And another thing as well, we don't always see the tickets come back in the office until they've gone back on the website. So
Exactly.
a lot of the time in the office, we can't turn around to an angler and say, "Oh, someone's just sold this ticket back." Because if they do it themselves, it just goes on whenever they put it back on. So
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, fantastic. You never quite know. I mean, obviously the general climate of everything is difficult right now for people, and you never quite know what ticket sales are going to be like from year
yeah,
to year. Where people keep telling us that river fishing's dying and what have you, but Riverfest seems to indicate a bit different. I mean, at one point a couple of weeks ago we'd hardly got any tickets left at all. When you look through the list here, I had a quick look through earlier. You might have ones and twos. There's that one with 13. I think there's
yeah.
one with 11, and all the rest are like single figures. So, but yeah, I would urge people just to have a look on the list just to make sure because sometimes you can just drop on exactly what you want. So.
Yeah, yeah, true. And you say 28 qualifiers this year. What new venues have we got, Dave? Anything to really look forward to for the anglers
Well,
out
we've
there?
got some. I mean, it's nice that we've got the Neen again at Oundle. That's obviously going to be popular. We've got just bear with me 1 second as I go through this lot. There's a lot to go. We've got a new one at the Dorset Stour. That's on the 21st of July.
Yeah,
Um, this is brand new one for this competition, and I've heard lots of good things about the venue down at Sturminster. I think it's all platformed. It's a popular place already. You know, a lot of fish to be caught on long whips, small
Yeah.
roach, a few bream. Um, it's only a 40 pegger this year, that particular one, but I can see this becoming much bigger in the future. You
Yeah.
know, I think well, it's sold out, so you know it's going to be a keenly contested one, and I think it'll be a good match. We've got another one. Obviously, we've got a lot of the old favourites still in here. Collingham, Burton Joyce, Trentlock, and then we've also got. Bear with me. Oh yeah, we've got one. We're back on the Bristol Avon. We didn't have a Bristol Avon match last year.
Yeah.
This year we've got one on the Bristol Avon down at Swineford and Crane. Popular sections from yesteryear. Lots of potential for big weights down
Yeah.
there. And again, you know, it's something that I'd like that to develop still further, the Bristol
Yeah.
Avon. I'd like that. I'd love that to become an 80 peg match in time, you know. But at the moment, obviously, it's just good to have that back, really,
Yeah.
back on. Don't know, but
100%.
I mean, if you want to talk through the various venues,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
obviously we get underway on Sunday at Evesham, and that's going to be a 60 peg match. No one will have fished on that stretch since last season, you know,
Yeah.
since March, and even in March, I mean, it was flooded. So the last time the river was good would have been September, you
Yeah.
know, that sort of thing. I booked on that one myself. I'm really looking forward to it. Evesham holds special memories for me. I mean, it can be a really cruel place at times and really difficult, you know, and you never quite know what's going to happen until the 5 hours is up. I mean, I can tell you so many stories about the place where I remember once I was on the verge of packing up on about peg 40, 45, 46. And it was a real hard summer match, and I was hardly getting a bite, and it was really difficult. The last half an hour, I started packing my gear away, and I've just left a feeder rod in, just fishing a feeder right across to the far bank lily pads.
Yeah.
And there's literally we're inside the last 15 minutes. The rod tip's gone, and I got a carp on. Right.
Wow.
So suddenly, you know, you're attached to something special again. I mean,
Yeah.
done it with barbel down there, but this particular fish, it's took me all over the river. You know, when I think it was I 14 up Clent, it took me all over the river. There's boats coming across. It's gone underneath the boats.
Wow.
Um, and somehow I managed to land it. 18 pound it was. Right.
Jesus. Big
Yeah.
fish then.
I think it's still the biggest fish I ever caught at Evesham. You
Yeah.
know, single fish,
Hmm.
and I won the match with about 20 pound. You know, so lots of things can happen down there. There's lots of barbel. I think one of the reasons why the anglers go there, you know, for the qualifiers, even though it's difficult fishing, I think they enjoy fishing there because you're always in the hunt,
I think
right?
anything can happen.
Even up to the last 5 minutes, you know, you could catch a double figure barbel and win the match
Yeah.
potentially. You know, so that keeps people going. So in terms of preparation, you know, you're going to want everything really. I think. I mean, I would love to draw, say, peg 35 or 36. I'd really fancy that to catch some chub down there early season. We've got a bit of rain forecast, so the top end of the stretch, pegs 1 and 2, could possibly show some bream.
Yeah.
Bream can show anywhere. I mean, there's a lot more bream in that stretch than there used to be. And if we get some colour, then obviously they'll play a big part. Um, what will win every section, every zone? Difficult one to say, really, you know, but I think you're going to need a decent weight on everyone, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And then moving on, it's a Wednesday qualifier next.
Yeah, I've got a ticket for that one as well. That's at Newark. Newark's become a very, very popular venue in this particular competition. I mean, that match there, Wednesdays, 80 pegs sold
Yeah.
out, you know. I mean, there was a time when you could never achieve that, but
No.
obviously, I think you know a lot of anglers now are older. Some are self-employed, like myself, and older, and we can choose to do what we like in midweek as well as weekends. So it's a great stretch. John O'Reilly is now the match organizer there, and I know he'll peg it well. We've got some very clearly defined sections, and I feel that's probably going to be a bream match. I think
Yeah.
I think you'll probably need bream on all four zones for that one.
Right.
I really do. But yeah, it should be good. Should be
Yeah.
good.
Next one got River Calder at Murfield.
Yeah, this is where I qualified last year.
Yeah.
This is on the first day. Can you believe I qualified with 4 trout last year, mate?
I saw the picture. It was a stunning picture, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. I mean that story. I mean, I don't think you could ever do that again. I mean,
No.
it was a bad draw. It was a really bad draw. I'd actually drawn one peg above it once, and a friend of mine, Terry Truman, was on that peg, and we both went dry, right, that particular day. And this particular time, I really feared the worst that it could happen again. Talk about divine intervention or something. I've had a brown trout 5'9", another one 3'9", and two pound odd ones that took me all over the river, and
Yeah.
I landed all four and got through. But normally you're looking at chub and bream
Yeah.
as being your main species. There are some very big perch in there. And obviously there's these bonus trout. Normally trout are just a top up fish.
Yeah.
I assume it'll be the same again. But Martin High runs this, and it's always a good match. Always a really well attended match. It's pegged great. I mean, lots of room for everybody. And they've all got. It's one of these venues where there's loads of peg names.
Yeah.
Hole in the wall. The Bones peg. It's the Bones. They found some human remains once in this
Oh,
particular
wow.
section of bones. Hence, it's called the Bones peg. And yeah, there's lots of little names all the way through it, but
Yeah.
ever so well run. The pegs are all over the place, but all the pegs now tend to have the postcodes on, so it's easy for visiting anglers. I mean, I would point out to match organisers, if you've got a venue where there's car parking all over the place, a really good idea is to put on the draw ticket, as well as the peg number, the actual code for parking. If you can put like a
Yeah.
postal code, and it works really well. That does, because obviously, if half the field are newcomers, just visitors for the day, they're not going to know where they're going.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, I'm going to go up the night before with a good mate of mine, Matt McGuinness,
Yeah.
and we're meeting up with some of the Welsh lads, Spud Murphy, Martin Challenger, and Paul Johnson, I believe. Just so we'll get a few beers in the night before.
That's it.
Hopefully, a good draw.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
if we haven't qualified already. So,
Yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
yeah.
Then we're on to the River Nene, obviously new
Hmm.
qualifier. What have we got to expect from the Nene, Dave?
The Neen is it's quite it's I would say fairly straightforward. You're either going to, I mean, there's a lot of bream in the Neen, big bream and
Yeah.
skimmers, and there's a lot of roach, but generally speaking, I think it's going to be big fish to get through. I would imagine it's going to be pole or feeder, and it's going to be bream and tench, that sort of thing. I can't really see small fish getting through.
Yeah.
I'd like to think they will, but I think it's just going to be too early in the season for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
And
venue nonetheless, and like I said, there's some tickets available, so
yeah.
people like fishing the knee and then get yourself on there.
Yeah, correct. Then we're going back to the River Severn. Obviously, you've said it's had a blowout pretty much all winter, hardly any fishing on it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I
you,
know there's been a lot of work going on at Bewdley and at Bridgenorth where we've got a qualifier later. Um, it's always a popular venue, this one. I mean, I used to live in Bewdley, and I love Bewdley. I've always got affection for it. I don't like the walks there.
yeah,
It's one of those as well. It's like you need quite a lot of different equipment with you. But obviously the draw sorts that out in terms of what you actually need after the draw. But it's going to be mainly. Well, is it going to be barb or chub? I think chub will play a big part on this match.
yeah,
Sections, zones of 20. There are some really good float pegs. So it wouldn't surprise me if chub were the main dominant species. But there's lots of big perch there. Bewdley was always famous just for barbel weights, and there are still a lot of barbel there. But
yeah,
you tend to need colour in the river for it to fish well. If you don't, then it's going to be harder fishing. But float fishing for chub is going to be probably as good as any method, I would
yeah.
thought.
Yeah, and then back to the River Trent, going to Caythorpe next.
Yeah, Caythorpe. I like Caythorpe, but again, it can be quite a cruel place for
Yeah,
some people. Um, I'd like to draw, if I was on this match, I'd like to draw the top end, say pegs 1 or 2 for Bream.
yeah,
Um, the middle bit, there's a on the fence end, it can be quite good for Barbel and for Bream. And
yeah,
then the bottom end of the stretch, there's loads of fish down there, bream as well as silverfish.
yeah.
You could get through with a roach weight down there. Basically, the Trent is just the Caythorpe is a very good match length, and when people go pleasure fishing there, they catch stacks. Come the match day, it's never quite as good.
It's a different story. Yeah,
I think the thing is you've got 60 good anglers
yeah,
all starting at the same time. There's a lot of bait going in all the way along the length, So, but no, it's a good venue. Very, very good venue.
yeah. Next, I've got on the list, I've got River Trent, Cuttlebrook, Ingleby Golf Course.
Yes. Is that the one? Oh, yeah, we've got another one before that, haven't we? We've got one on the Medway, is it?
Yeah, I've got the Medway's just come behind it, actually. Yeah, we've got the Medway next.
Yeah, the River Medway. It's a shame, really, that we can't get the numbers up on this one when we're down to 20 anglers. Um, Whether we ever get those numbers back up again, I don't know, because I'd love to see that as a 60 pegger,
Yeah,
and we were doing it as a 40, but we just can't get the interest in that area. The thing is with RiverFest, we create these things and everybody wants them, and then when you create them, they don't always support them in
I,
different parts of the
I,
country.
I feel it's the same with Fishermania. It's the same with a lot of these qualifiers. If the further south you go, you want people that want the qualifiers, but there's not the number of people to take the uptake on the tickets right up there.
Yeah. The Medway tends to be it's a difficult play. When there's colour in, they catch bream. When it's normal, it tends to be a silverfish, like a roach match, either pole or waggler. There's a few chub to be caught as well. I suspect it'll be a difficult match, but obviously only one place up for grabs, so
Yeah,
everyone's needs to fish for it.
yeah, that's
It's a
it.
shame we haven't got more on that one, really is.
Yeah,
And then the next one should have been at Cuttlebrook and Ingleby, but there's been a problem there, so we've now managed to switch it just further down the river, down at Burton on Trent.
yeah,
Um, it's a stretch I really like fishing down there. We've got the Causewater, and there's so much varied fishing down there in terms of approach.
yeah,
Pole plays a big part, waggler plays a part, stick float plays a part, and you can also catch a few fish on feeder in parts. Wayne Swinscoe's running this one, and I know he'll peg it well.
yeah,
And it's a match I'm looking forward to if I'm on it. If I'm honest, I'm hoping I'm through by then. By the way, but
yeah, definitely,
you never quite know.
definitely. And then back to the Warwickshire Avon at Stratford.
Yeah, Warwickshire Avon. Mal Hallows is running this one in conjunction with his team.
Yeah,
Um, Great stretches up there. I mean, anything can happen at Stratford. There's some really special pegs there where you can catch some massive weights of chub.
yeah,
I think chub will be the dominant species. However, again, lots of big perch. Don't forget lobworms and baits like that. Bream, less so. I don't see bream playing much of a part there. And a few big barbel. There's some big
yeah,
barbel, of course. One of the problems with the barbel is that quite often you're hooking them on sort of silverfish gear and you don't land them.
no, yeah, agreed.
It's difficult just to target 1 or 2 fish when you're probably going to need £20 plus, to get through.
Yeah,
Um, but no, it's a great venue. I love Stratford. Great place.
yeah. Then next Bridge North on the 7.
Yeah, like I say, Dave Lloyd's running this one. Bridge North, another one it's one of these venues where when you're driving there, you're always excited thinking
Yeah,
about the great pegs. I had some wonderful, wonderful fishing on there, and hopefully it can happen all over again. But there's some real special swims there where £50 plus, as much as £100 is possible, but
yeah,
certainly £50 plus wouldn't surprise me if that wins the match. You know, um, it's going to be a shootout between feeder fishing and float fishing. The chub pegs tend to be best on the float on a normal river. if it's coloured, it'll be a feeder job, and then it's a case of the more colour you get in, it's going to be either pellet feeder or meat feeder. And the clearer it gets, the more more goes towards the castor and hemp or maggots, either feeder or float. But I think anglers will need to keep on in tabs on what's happening with the weather leading up to that one. Use the river report thing. I mean, the EA now do an online system whereby you can check the river levels daily. Well, you can check them hour by hour. And if things are coming up, then gear up accordingly. How many times people have gone there and they get caught out by not having leads heavy enough, for
Yeah.
example. So make sure you've got stuff in your van or in your car to suit difficult conditions as well as good ones. There's nothing worse than drawing a good peg where you need 4 ounces of lead and you've only got 2.
Yeah.
Horrendous.
Not needed.
So yeah, but no, great venue, and they use nearly all the whole stretch. So
Yeah.
I got through there a couple of years ago with a real strange bag. There was colour in. I fished meat, and I ended up catching a big bream. I caught some chub. I had mainly barbel. I had a chub as well, as I recall. In more recent years, there's been bream caught. There's quite lots of bream up there now.
Yeah.
Even though it was never regarded as a bream venue. So there's no reason why someone couldn't even qualify with a bream weight.
Yeah.
So, but great venue, great place.
Yeah. Then back onto one of the old favourites, the River Soar at Sutton Boddington.
Yeah, again, it's one of these venues you love it or you hate it. It was never kind to me. I don't tend to fish this one because
Yeah.
it just doesn't go. A lot of good anglers in that area always flock to this one as their number one choice. Loads of silverfish there, loads of perch there, loads of skimmers there. Sometimes they show, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
There's massive eels. I mean, Brian Rigby had an eel, 4 pounder on the one match.
Wow.
Huge thing like a snake.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's a good venue. It's a good match venue, but it can be tough.
Especially the Soar, that sort of area as well. You'd class it more as a internationally style venue potentially, obviously with
Yeah,
amphitheaters and bits like that.
everybody tends to go down that route, balling it and fishing long pole and so
Yeah.
on. But sometimes you need quite a bit of luck on a venue like that, just
Yeah.
as a bonus fish or whatever. But no, good
Yeah.
venue.
And next one we've got probably one of the most popular qualifiers out of the lot, the River Trent at Burton Joyce.
Is it Burton Joy? I thought it was Collingham next.
I've got Burt.
Oh, I've got Collingham
Yeah,
next.
Collingham next then. My
Collingham
going on.
17. Yeah, I'm looking on the actual
Yeah.
website here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Collingham was a new edition last year and very popular. Big weights of barbel.
Yeah.
This is a great barbel venue. There was all sorts of things where I think there was a lot of fish caught on snails last year. Can you believe?
Wow.
Snail, dynamite baits.
Yeah.
These
Hemp
snails.
and snails and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be banned, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Snails. It should be in the same category as wasp grub and something like that. No, it's a bait. I know John O'Reilly uses it and Andy Starkey uses them. I haven't really got into snail fishing yet, and I'm hoping they don't dominate too much. But the barbel are the main species without a doubt. There,
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of chub down there, and I know there's a lot of silverfish. But looking at the results last year, I can't see anything other than barbel taking the 3 section zone prizes. Might be wrong,
Yeah. Correct.
It'd be nice to see a float weight get through there because I think there's some great float water. But I suppose if everyone's fishing feeder for barbel, that's the method that's going to get through.
That's it. Correct. Correct. And then we're going on to, like I just said, probably the most popular stretch and most popular qualifier of the year.
Burton Joyce, brilliant venue. We've got an 80 pegger there. I have really enjoyed getting into Burton Joyce. I think it's one of our best match waters in the country. All sorts of methods. I mean, whatever you enjoy doing, you can do it there. It's great. You can park. First of all, we park behind our pegs, or you can at least drop off and move the car back.
Yeah.
Then you've got pole, you've got waggly, you've got stick float, you've got feeder for bream, you've got feeder for barbel. All sorts of methods come into play.
Yeah.
Dace feeder was really popular last year, just fishing a little short tail.
Yeah,
Short tail above the feeder, what they call the dink dink method. Where you've got your feeder and the actual hook is above it.
yeah,
Deadly method. Ken Pacey won a couple of matches doing, or a couple of zones winning it with 20-pound weights of dace.
nice.
Now I wouldn't have thought that you could catch dace fast enough like that, but you can.
Yeah,
Having practiced it, you can, and they're big ones as well.
yeah,
The barbell pegs dominated. The peg down in the Nelson field has dominated a lot in the finals last few years,
yeah,
and in qualifiers. Now, whether we're using that field this year, I'm not quite sure. It's something we're looking at. I'm working with Wayne Swinsky on that, and we'll always do what we feel is best for the competition.
yeah,
But we might even be moving the match length further down past the rack,
yeah,
down to what they call the high hawthorns and down that area. So, watch this space. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a great match, and you're going to need to account for all sorts of methods when you're getting your gear ready.
yeah, yeah. And next one, obviously, new venue, Dorset Stour.
Yeah, we mentioned
Yeah,
about that one. I mean, it's going to be pole and long whip, I think, that
yeah,
one. From what I can gather, I say by long, I mean maybe 5-6 meters. I
yeah,
don't know whether they're using longer than that with flick tips for small fish. But friend of mine, Richard Chave, I call him the goby gatherer because he catches little fish.
yeah,
Um, I expect he'll do well there. I mean, he always seems to come back with good catches, and he tells me it's a great venue. So I think he's a worthy addition, definitely.
yeah. Then back to Newark. Obviously later on in the year, but is it going to change much in that
Same thing.
day?
You never quite know. I mean, but the thing is with early season venues, I mean there's an open match at Newark on the opening Sunday before the Wednesday match, so we're gonna have an idea really of what species are dominant. I
Yeah,
said earlier, I think bream are going to be the main species. Um, by end of July, when this one is, we might well be seeing some barbel showing.
yeah,
In which case then if they use at the top end of East Stoke at Sheldon's and the other parts of East Stoke, I mean, Barber could well play a part in it, and if they feed, then they can eclipse bream weights easily.
yeah,
There's also a lot of silverfish to be caught. I mean, down at Rolleston last year, the top end of Rolleston with lots of small fish up there. So Paul could play a part. Again, I would expect feeder bream to be the
yeah.
main assault.
Interesting venue. Then we are going on to the River Don at Sprotsborough.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of work been going on the Don still, and it's a popular venue, very deep. It's not a venue I've sort of frequented. What I know is it's very deep. It's pole, it's feeder, it's bream to
Yeah,
get through. That's going to be it.
yeah.
You ain't going to
Simple
get through
venue.
that. You're going to get through with anything other than bream
Yeah.
on that. So
Yeah. Then back to Stratford.
as before,
That
exactly as
one.
we've said before.
All
Uh,
on all on the weather.
yeah, very much so. But I think it's going to be a similar sort of match to the first one. The nice thing about this, you see, anglers. When I first created this competition, I was trying to have every venue different. Then,
Yeah,
as we started to use venues more than once, the better venues like Stratford, anglers get more familiar with it. So if you made a mistake on a particular match, or you come back and you think, I could have done it better, I could have caught
yeah,
a bit more, then you got another chance.
100%.
So it's good to get familiar with these sort of venues. But so there's one ticket remaining for that one as we talk.
Yes.
And then we're back to Newark again on, sorry, no, Clanfield on
We're
the
going
Thames.
down to the Thames.
Yeah, again, a really popular place, parking behind the pegs.
Yeah,
Um, Road, there's a few big chub down there that often play a part with the main results. Um, but there's lots of small fish as well. So it tends to be a catch as many small fish as you can and interdisperse it with a few bonus chub. But
yeah,
again, chub and bream, they're an important fish on there to get through.
yeah,
You know. And if you draw a feature peg, then that can be worth a hell of a lot, I think. So
yeah.
that's
Um,
what we're trying to do.
then we're back to Newark 3,
Newark
obviously.
3,
Sort of similar time.
yeah, very much so. Then
Similar.
we've got a few really looking through that. We've got Collingham again, which is going
Yeah.
to be the same. Burton Joyce too. As we're now into sort of mid-August.
Yeah.
Burton Joyce will be perfect. That's a real good time of year for that one. Expect some very, very good silverfish weights on that one. Then we've got Trent Lock.
Yeah.
Uh,
First time there of the year.
Again, I mean, there's been some good weights there, good weights of bream last couple of years. Um, Bream and roach will be the main target fish on that one.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And we've got the first of the two tidal matches.
Yeah.
Now these are interesting because Alan Henry, who's a great match organizer, and he runs a lot of matches on that part of the river. When we spoke about this, bear in mind I tend to talk to all these organisers and we're trying to get dates sorted. And Alan said to me, "Can I just try and coincide it with the biggest tides?" Right.
Yeah.
Now I don't know whether you know much about tidal fishing.
Quite
Um,
a bit. Yeah. I've
but
got the knowledge of fish health with that sort of thing. So
yeah, well, you need the more I find out about it, it's not somewhere I've gone to a lot, and it can be quite daunting for first time visitors. If you're there where a tide's coming in, and it comes up 4 or 5 foot while you're
yeah.
fishing, it's quite an experience. But what we've done and what Alan's done is timed that particular week. He says, and he reckons it will be the best week of the year for fishing that stretch.
Yeah.
Right? So to such an extent, you see, I mean, what we've actually done there, we've got a Wednesday and a Friday qualifier,
Yeah.
which we've never done before. Right now, we've got an 80 pegger on the Wednesday. We've got 12 tickets left,
Yeah.
and a 60 pegger on the Friday, and that's sold out. Right.
Yeah.
He maintains that both matches will be a real bonanza, a feeder bonanza. Right,
Yeah.
it'll be out and out feeder, and it'll be attack. It's going to be bream, it's going to be hybrids. So if that's your game and you want to get a ticket, there are
There's
still a
your
few left
chance.
for the Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, be interesting to follow that because I do understand now about the importance of big tides.
Yeah. Correct. And obviously he's tried to work it in the week with the best fishing, which is all you
Yeah,
can ask from a match organizer.
yeah. And then we've got Burton on Trent, the second one.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, Burton on Trent is the official one. Obviously, the first one we actually moved it from the Cuttlebrook
Yeah.
venue.
And Ingleby. Yeah.
End of August is a great time for Burton, which is what we've got this one, and we've also got it on a Wednesday. Um, I tend to think Wednesday's going to be better because it gets an awful lot of people on the river on Sunday sometimes. Paddle boarders,
Yeah.
open water swimmers. I mean, the one match I drew on Bailey's and I could hear all this commotion going on. There's like a bush in the way. So the way I was pegged, I couldn't see the far bank very well
Yeah.
from my angle. But I could hear all this commotion going on where a minibus or a coach had pulled up. And all of a sudden, there's about 20 old ladies jumping in the river, right?
Oh, lovely.
And they're all over the place. They're coming down my peg. They got rafts around them, and oh God, well,
Yeah.
it's cold, isn't it? I said, what do you bloody expect? You just jumped in a river.
Yeah.
Anyway, they eventually got out, and I'm thinking I'm going to catch nothing. Incredibly, I went on to have a run of small skimmers,
Yeah.
which you don't normally catch there. Anyway, I had loads of small skimmers on a waggler. Must be that maybe it was something they put in the pheromones worked or what.
Yeah.
But no, it'll be better having it on a Wednesday. There'll be less disturbance, and I think the fishing will benefit from it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Then we're back to Clanfield again.
Clanfield, yeah,
Obviously,
Clanfield 2,
start
same thing,
September.
exactly the same thing. Draw a feature, you have a chance.
Yep.
Bristol Avon, you got that one next.
Yep.
Swineford.
Got that one next. Yeah.
Okay,
Swineford.
and as we spoke about earlier, I would expect early September. I would imagine we'll have some very big weights there, very big.
Yeah.
So. And then finally, on the qualifying front, we've got the Thames at Abingdon.
Yeah.
A stretch of the river that I really enjoy fishing, particularly if you get a bit of colour in. It's sold out, 60 pegs. So it's in and around the Abingdon area. What'll be? I think there'll be 20 pegs at Abingdon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm not sure exactly which zones they use, but it's similar fishing. I mean, most of it tends to be long pole
Yeah.
and feeder. feeding them. And if there's colour, a lot of bream. There's loads of bream there.
Yeah.
But you know yourself, you get a clear river and you don't catch them so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most anglers tend to go down the route of balling ground bait and then fishing long.
Yeah.
Bleak can play a part if it's really difficult. Bleak can play a part just on short line and even on
Yeah.
long with pinkies and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Need to have an open mind, but that concludes that, and then obviously from that point we go to a week's break, and then we'll have a practice weekend. So what we will do is invite all of the finalists to take part in a
Yeah.
practice match. What I tend to do with that, I mean, some people just come along to watch.
Yeah.
Useful. I agree it's useful, but there's nothing like fishing sometimes. So what we tend to do is if anglers want to fish that, even if they haven't qualified, is look out for it on the Facebook page. We'll take names on there.
Yeah.
It's Angling Trust RiverFest. And keep a look on there. And then what we'll do, we'll take names from competitors, and then as of a certain date, we'll open it up for everybody.
Correct.
So we'll have 84 pegs, the same as it would be
Yeah.
the following weekend.
Yeah.
In the final itself.
Yeah, and I think like we did last year, we'll probably have a catch up with Wayne or yourself and just go through what's actually going on with the final closer to the time.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of money, you're looking at if we sell all these tickets, then you're looking at 14,000 to the winner.
Yeah.
I think it's 1,000 for 15th. Section prize of £250.
Yeah.
Loads of money up for grabs. It's just a case really of getting through and winning your zone, isn't it? That's the
Yeah.
hard bit.
But like you said, it's a lot of this is down to selling the tickets, isn't it, at the end of the day, Dave?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we've done that, so onwards and upwards, and I think
Yeah.
it's. I'm really looking forward to. I always look forward to the results coming in. I would point out, for anybody listening to this sort of thing for the first time, what tends to happen is that when anglers get through to the final, all of their remaining tickets go back on sale, right?
Yeah.
So let's say Fred Smith has got 10 tickets. He qualifies at Evesham on the Sunday. By the Monday at 10 o'clock, his other 9 tickets will be on sale.
Correct.
Right, so particularly those early rounds, get yourself online at night at 10 o'clock and you'll see what's available.
Yeah, correct.
You imagine from that, if 3 people get through and they've all got 10 tickets,
It's 30 tickets online
you could
for
have a lot of tickets
grabs.
yeah, definitely. So
Correct.
that's the time. Obviously, that's going to get less and less as it goes on.
Definitely.
Should be good.
Definitely. But yeah, again, thanks for the catch up, Dave. And I'm sure we will catch up with yourself just before the final, and we can have a rundown of how the final's going to work and
Just
what
mean
we
I can
think.
get back to all my polls in the background here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Well,
thanks for coming on, Dave. And like I say, good luck to everyone out there this Sunday.
yeah.
And have a great time on RiverFest again
Yeah,
for
good luck, everyone.
2024.
Good luck.
See you later.